Hi there, welcome to Offisavvy Answers. Today we're going to tackle the question, how much does it cost to move office furniture? Now this is kind of a broad question. What I'm going to try to do is give you a couple simple examples to help you get a feel for what these costs can look like. As always, my goal is to give you an answer that is fast and useful, so let's get to it. So the short answer is about $200 and up, or $200 and up, and it depends on what you're moving. It's based off of the time and materials needed to get the job done. So depending on the person or company you hire and the part of the country that you're in, movers and furniture installers can cost anywhere from $45 to $120 an hour. So first, let's talk about minimum charges for labor. So most moving companies have a minimum hourly requirement. This can often be a 4-hour minimum or a 2-hour minimum in some cases. So our moving company, Offisavvy, charges $55 an hour for a mover, and we have a 4-hour minimum. The minimum charge in this case would be about $220. So if you're moving items in quantity, like a whole office, the price per unit of furniture goes down significantly as the travel time is the same for one chair or 10 desks or an entire truckload of furniture. When coming up with costs, there are three main factors to consider. So how long is it going to take? How many man hours or work hours are involved? And then how difficult is it to move your stuff? Is it big and heavy furniture or equipment? And how difficult is it to take it apart and put it back together? And is it moving to and from places that are easy to access? So think moving a desk from upstairs with no elevator versus moving something from a single room that's on ground floor where you can just walk in, grab it, and go. The last thing you want to consider is how far is this stuff traveling over the road? So distance. A truck and driver can cost anywhere from about $75 to $150 an hour in most cases. So, simple example, labor. One chair could take 10 to 15 minutes to shrink wrap and roll into the truck, unload, unwrap, and place in its new location. So a single chair, you have about 15 minutes. If you are looking back or thinking about the 4-hour minimum, when you're moving very small quantities of furniture, you're going to pay more per unit just because the same truck and driver and period of time, or roughly the same, is going to accomplish less. One L-shaped desk, that would be about 2 people, 20 minutes to break down and load, 30 minutes to unload and rebuild. So about 50 minutes times 2 people, that's 100 minutes or 1.6 total man hours. A cubicle, 2 people, 1 hour to break down, 1.5 hours to unload and rebuild. So you have about 2.5 man hours times 2 people, so 5 man hours. So let's go over a simple example in terms of transport time. So let's say you're going across the hall. Well, there's no transport, no loading into the truck, takes maybe 3 minutes. And so you don't have any or very little time in the actual moving. It's more in just the breaking down and prepping and then taking off and setting in place that takes the majority of the time. So if you're going down the street, well, that could take 10 to 15 minutes times the number of crew members that are going to be needed at that destination. Same with across town. 25 minutes could be over an hour. We do moves in the San Diego and Los Angeles areas all the time. If that happens to be rush hour, it could take an hour to a few miles. And then across the country. So now you're looking at 10, 20, 30 hours. When you get to this point, the driver needs rest. So these sorts of moves can take anywhere from 2 to 5 days. So let's start with a simple example of a typical small move. You're going to move your 4 L-shaped desks, and we're going to just take them down the street. So to take apart, load, unload and put back together each desk is going to be about 2 people, 50 minutes, so 100 minutes. The 4 desks, that takes you to about 400 minutes or 6.5 working hours. Plus, you have your 15 minutes times 2 people drive time. So you're at about 7 man hours at 55 an hour, plus the fuel and drive time from the moving company. That's referred to portal to portal. That means the moving company's 15 minutes away. They drive on site. Clock starts when they leave their location. They conduct the move, and then they go back to their dispatch location. So let's say that adds on another $100. What I came up with here is $485. Now, depending on circumstances, this could be anywhere from $325 to $650. But this is a good ballpark to kind of think about for this size of move. So simple example 1, 4 desks, $485. That would work out to about $121.25 per desk. So simple example 2, 6 cubicles. So you have 6 by 6 or 6 by 8 cubicles, and you're going to move them across town. So to take apart, load, unload, and put together each cubicle, going to be about 2 people times 150 minutes, so 300 minutes a cubicle. So you take that times 6 cubicles, you have about 1,800 minutes or 30 man hours or work hours. Add in your 30 minutes of combined drive time, and what you end up with is about 30 man hours at 65 an hour. You notice I use 55 and then 65 here. Cubicle installers are usually charged at a slightly higher rate than a typical office mover. So you have that 65 an hour, 30 man hours. You add in a little bit more fuel and drive time and the portal to portal charge. Let's say that is an additional 250. And this move might take about $2,200. Could be 1,600, could be 2,800, but that's your ballpark in this example. So simple example 2, 6 cubicles, 4 6 by 8 cubicles, moving across town, $2,200, and this works out to about $367 per cubicle. I found about $350 per cubicle is a good middle of the road estimate to what it can charge to move cubicle workstations. They break up into a whole bunch of different pieces. So these are the only 2 examples I cited here, but you get the idea. Whether it's a filing cabinet, a desk, a cubicle, what's going to drive a lot of the cost is the time it takes to prep and break down, reset up these furniture items. So hopefully this gives you a good feel for how much office furniture moving is going to cost. You can take these kind of napkin, back of the napkin examples, and you could apply them to a whole office to come up with a rough budget for your next move. If you'd like to get a better estimate, go ahead, make sure and contact Offisavvy if you're in the Southern California area, and we can get you an estimate usually within 48 hours. That's all I got for today, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll be with you for the next move.